All right. Am I fuzzy? Am I blurry? That's just me. Hey, we're live. I think I should probably say something. Hi, everyone. Dan here with Chief Experts. Welcome to our show today. Let's just turn people on instead of the screen at this point. Um, Welcome. It's a beautiful cold day here in Minnesota, so we're just really enjoying our snow-free winter, which I don't know if enjoying is the right word or not, but we have a pretty much snow-free winter here in Minnesota, which is really unusual for us. We're behind about 20 inches of snow at this point. So, and the next 2 weeks look to be in the 30s and 40s. Okay, then we're going to be the new Florida here pretty soon, right? I hope not. Anyway, enough of that. Welcome to our show. We're going to get started here. We've got a few people on that have submitted some plans, so we will go over some of those things, offer some tips and techniques to help everybody through what they might be struggling with. So if you have questions, and also you can ask them in the chat. So Renee, John, Robin, and Kevin, welcome to the show today. How you guys been?
Good.
Good.
I'm good.
Cold, but we're good.
Cold but good. I hear you've got a bit of ice there in Portland, Harlem.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Oregon.
Kansas City hasn't seen temperatures like this for years. It's cold here.
Yeah. Well, welcome to our world, you guys.
Yeah. There's a reason that I live south.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, so 6 weeks away till our designer show. So, you guys want to say anything about that to our lovely audience?
Oh, you guys, if you're considering it, you absolutely should sign up. You'll have a great time and you will learn a lot. You will learn a lot.
And that's not just a sales pitch. That is sincerity. We learn a lot. I can't imagine what those of you who are coming for our knowledge are learning, because it's nonstop, morning to night, the entire time you're there.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's fun. It's fun, and you're getting information everywhere.
Everywhere. Around the kitchen table, around breakfast, out on the deck, upstairs.
Going
you're
for
getting
walks.
everywhere.
Yeah, it's great.
I'll add to that. We decided on Saturday after our classes, I'm going to do a workshop on anybody that's got my pro plan. So anybody that's been asking me questions about it, want to know how I've been using it, I'm going to do a good portion of the day working on that. So that's another reason maybe for some of you.
And I'm feeling like that there's some probably more things I want to say than I'll have time to. So I'm thinking about just sticking around on that Wednesday day that is your day off, and be available for sessions on that day as well. So it'll be fun. We're still putting together the itinerary, the agenda for the week, but you can get as totally immersed as you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's pretty cool. So again, what Kevin was referring to is everybody starts arriving on Friday, March 1st, I believe. And then Friday and Saturday, everybody arrives. On Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we're going to be doing courses for chief architect, advanced chief stuff. We'll have in the evenings and at lunchtime, we'll have business tracks going on. We've got a ton of things planned for this event. So, and it's always, it sounds overwhelming, but it's really not. It's just fun. But what Kevin's talking about is this Wednesday where you're going to take off, give everybody a break, a breather. But I know Kevin and Renee, you've been talking about, you're not going to go anywhere. So you'll be there doing some special things. So that's fun. Thursday, Friday, we're back at it as a group. So we'll all come together in the big room as a group of, and talking about chief architect. And then Renee was talking about on Saturday that we'll be taking that day. Everybody can pack and leave at that point, or you can stay until Sunday. And then Sunday is we are going to check out late morning. And there we go. So, and we'll have some webinars afterwards, and we'll have a forum set up. So we got a lot coming up. And I believe there is, I think there's 2 rooms left in the big house, plus one in the bunk room. And I think there's 3 rooms left in the other one. So we got room for about 6 people. Plus you can, if you find a hotel or something, you want to stay out there, or you got a friend that you can stay with, you could also do that too and join us. So we have a limited amount of people that aren't going to be staying with us that can come and join us. So Matt was there last year, and he's coming back again. So that's pretty cool. We've got, I believe, 10 people coming back from last year. So that's pretty exciting.
And John, you mentioned that it sounds like a great time and learning experience, but it's hard on the pocketbook. You know, the outlying expense right off the bat does seem that way, but when you break it down into what you're getting for that, you're getting your lodging, all the food you can eat, you're getting an amazing amount of education. Not one of those things where you pop into the hotel at 8:30 in the morning, have coffee till 9, learn until 3, and somebody gives you a break and you go home. This is really an incredible learning experience in that we start in the morning and we don't stop until nightfall. For as much as you choose to be there.
Yep.
So I think
real quick, Kevin, I'm going to cut you off because we got to get moving. Chad, Mr. Mustache, was there last year. Chad, what do you have to say? You're coming back, so we're excited to see you again.
Hey,
So,
Chad.
you got any comments about the summit you'd like to share?
Chad, you're muted. You need to unmute yourself.
There you
There we
go.
go. There we go.
Cool.
Yeah, it was great. So much information. I needed to come back and contain more of it.
Yeah, Chad's comment when he uploaded the file, he wants to learn anything and everything. So, so we're looking forward to helping you some more. Chad, thanks for being here today. We'll get to you in just a minute. We're going to start with Michael first. So let's go ahead. I'm going to take you off that call. Thanks, Chad. Anyway, enough of that. So let's go ahead and jump into our plans, that plan review. Michael Payne is here with us today. Michael, thanks for joining us. You sent me this after the last show. You're working on a house. And, you want to tell us again where this house is located and what kind of things you're struggling with? Oh, you're muted, I believe, or we're not hearing you. You know, you could go back to the speaker you had before.
Let's try this.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, perfect.
We got it.
This is Denver House. It's historical, 100 years old. And because it's historical in the historical district, we need to show what it is, it's existing. Well, it does have more on the south side, which is the right side, than the other side. So if you can spin the 3D around just a little bit, we can see the dormer window on that side that has a window that starts at the baseline where the curved portion starts and then goes straight up. So it's that's
cool.
our problem.
Yeah. Again, because of limited time, we're just going to cover a few things, but I want to touch on that. So let's just talk about some different ideas on how you can get this to work a little bit better.
Thank you.
These kinds of projects are tough because you're, welcome to the world of 3D modeling. Okay. And Chief's 3D modeling is such that they give you a lot of automatic function, which can sometimes absolutely drive you nuts because that automatic function kind of defeats what you're trying to accomplish. So we kind of have to set our mindset sometimes to get past some of that and try all sorts of different things to see if we can get them to work. Now, there's a few things I want, again, because we have limited time, I want to talk about a few things here and see if I can help a little bit. I've done Mansards before. I was looking for a plan where I did a whole slew of these little types of things where we have the things sticking out of the roof. I would say that this window looks pretty good. I don't think there's much you could do to improve on this one, especially if we go to the inside and take a look at it. I think it looked okay in there. Oh, we had one wall that wasn't getting cut off by the roof. So that's probably a function of, let's go in here, because you do have it set up right for the roof to cut the bottom of the wall off. There you go. That's good. The other side's working fine. But why isn't this side? So let's take the one thing I always look at right away when something's not working is, are we set to default wall type and default wall bottom? As soon as you start stretching a wall up or down, it turns those functions off and it will not cooperate at all anymore with any automatic function within the program. So let's check those back in and see if it fixes it, and voila. So that took
Oh,
care of that for the
yay.
most part.
Mhm.
So again, you got some things going up here. We'll talk about some of that later, but that's typically what happens with those kinds of things. And here again, we got some things going on there. We see now we can start messing with it, but as soon as I do that, now it goes back to not cooperating anymore with the tool. So let's undo that. The one problem we're having up in the corner here is the wall is just not long enough. So let's stretch that out, and that should still work because I didn't stretch the top or bottom. I just
Mhm.
made the wall a little longer. So that's the number one reason that these kind of things don't work when you're trying to reshape them. Anyway, that looks pretty good. Obviously you got a lot of crazy things going on, which we could spend a whole bunch of time talking about, but let's talk about a few other things real quick. One thing I've found with these mansards, when you start joining really steep roofs with other roof planes, is it really makes a big difference if you turn under options for a roof plane, do the square instead of the plumb. Let's see if that
Mhm.
cleans that up there a little bit. It should. I've found that works better. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. Now, of course, we fixed that, and then we got some of that sticking through the roof. It's like, yeah, thanks a lot. Okay, so over here on this side, I fixed some of that by clipping the end of that roof plane off. That was sticking here, and that seemed to clean it up a little bit. But again, Chief's auto function is, adding that ridge plate there and doing all sorts of crazy things. So at some point, you just have to say, that's going to have to do. So what we
Dan,
could try.
on that
Yeah.
one there, you could break the top of it and pull those corners down, I would think.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If we break this and then pull that. So I'm clicking on the roof and I hit my 3 key to put a break there. Let's just pull that down just a tad, and we can probably get that looking a little better. I'm holding my control key down to do it just a little at a time. So I'm sacrificing that sticking up, and I'm still getting some garbage there, but it's better than it was.
Mhm.
So a couple other things that happen here. When you're creating a roof plane, you see how your soffit's hanging down lower than the molding polyline that you've added.
Mhm.
Okay, that's a function of the roof box thickness. Let's think how this program's working. Let's think in terms of boxes. Okay, what's the thickness of that roof box? So if we go to structure and we look at the thickness of that, let's try making that a little smaller maybe. The other thing you could try doing is, what was I looking at before? I don't want to turn that off. Oh, I know what it was. It was, let's get rid of the freeze board, the shadow board. I think there was something on one of these that was turned on that was causing issues. Ridge caps, rafter tails. I don't remember what it was. I did it over here, I thought.
How is that trim applied around the top there?
It's just
for
a
the
molding
fascia?
polyline.
Okay.
Come on, rotate. All right, over here, what did I do there? I know I did. I don't remember what I did, but I did something. I'm trying to look at a half dozen plans here to kind of get some ideas. I rejoined. I think I rejoined these things, and I turned the fascia off, rejoined. But let's not worry about that. Your bay window before was sticking up and it was cutting the wall off up here like this.
Right.
All right. So that's really weird because usually it doesn't do that. But because you got so many crazy things going on, all I did was click on the bay window. I clicked on the bay window that you put in. So you're actually using a bay window.
Mhm.
And I exploded it.
Mhm.
Once I exploded it, it worked. Now, the other thing I did was I clicked on the wall and opened its dialog box, and I set these back to default. All right. Again, I think you had stretched that wall at some point, and those were not grayed out.
Mhm.
So that's the other thing. And then it cooperated okay. The other thing I did then is I went into the room that is this bay window, because that's what it is now. So when you explode a bay, you got walls, windows, floors, and ceilings, just like any other room. So I went to the floor plan and clicked in that room. So I hit my tab key till I got to the room, and I got rid of the floor structure. I just deleted what was in the floor structure because there was a little there was an area sticking down.
Mhm.
Where did it go? It was sticking down like that,
Mhm.
and that seemed to take. So again, with this one, you could explode it, make the floor, get rid of the floor structure, and it should fill that in up there. Another little tip for you. I took this bay window and I selected everything. You just group select everything. And when you do that, make it into a symbol.
Mhm.
And then actually, you know what I did do here? The reason this wall is working, now I remember what I did. I put a window opening inside here. I had to cut a hole in the wall. So I
Mhm.
put a pass through in there, just a window
Mhm.
pass through,
Mhm.
and that created the hole that I needed for that. Now, I left the frame of the pass through turned on, made it a 1/2 inch, and painted sheetrock on it. That's why, otherwise you just see framing there if you turn the frame off. So that's another way. So that's what you could do with this other one. Make it into a symbol, pop a hole in the wall with a pass through, put this in the right place, and you're done. And then it won't change anymore. So I missed getting the molding up here, although I think that's a molding polyline too, I believe. But I didn't get it, so something didn't get selected. Anyway, that was the solution there.
Thank you very much. That's clean.
Yeah, it helps a little bit. Again, we got to think of why the boxes aren't cooperating in Chief Architect. Why is the bay window being a shithead and cutting off the top of that wall? That's a new CAD term, by the way.
Wall.
It should say stinker. Okay, it's being a stinker. All right, let's keep it clean here. It's a family show.
Huh,
So
first time I've heard of that.
Yeah.
So
That's
anything
actually-
we can do
That's
to
the name of our dog. You know.
little stinker. Let's talk about one more thing here. Your
It's
little
my
window,
grandson's name.
your window down here where you have the grid.
Mhm.
All right. So
It's
you
really
did a 3D molding on here, or 3D slabs to create those. Those are all individual pieces, right?
That's amazing.
All right. You don't have to do that in Chief. You can actually create a window where that actually is a mullion that's part of the window. Here's how you do that. Let me show you real quick, because this is, that's a cool looking grid, but it's a pain if you have to move or resize that window because the grid isn't going to move with it. See, the grid stays separate. So here you could actually create that, and the grid is now part of the window. So it'll always be part of that window. So the way you do that in Chief, let me close out of this view and get back to the front elevation. So the way you do that is you take your window that you want to put a custom grid on. Let me just get this up here. And we're gonna, I'll undo the grid that's there now. When you put a custom grid, a custom mullion on a window, there's a little tool down here called unload mullions. And when you're loading them, it says load mullions. That just banks that back into CAD lines. So what you have to do to make that work, let's unblock that. All right, so there's the CAD. Just draw CAD lines to create the grid that you want. All right, so if I were to go down here and I added let's just add a grid at the bottom here, and I'll add on a few more of these. I'll just do them in real quickly. Then I group select those. I'm going to block them. Now when I click on the window, I get a, if it's done right, I should get a make mullion button. So obviously I've done something wrong. Where'd it go? I did block it, right? I did. All right, guys, why is it not working this time? That's weird. I need to go do this again. Let me select all of those. I'm just group selecting them. I suppose I could have done a marquee select. And then I'll make that a block. Okay, I got something I didn't want. I got this one. Make it a block. And now I click on the window and I've got this icon.
Mm.
8 million. I don't know why it wasn't working with this.
You didn't click on the
maybe-
window
oh.
after.
Huh?
You didn't click on the window after you blocked
Didn't I?
those ones on the lower part.
Thought I did. Well, let's try it. Let's see if that adds it to it.
What
I've
is
only
that
done-
icon called?
It's called
Dan,
Make
what's
Million. It's called
Load
Make,
mullion.
Make Million.
Make million?
Yep. So it created them okay up here, but it didn't work down here for some reason. I don't know why. And we don't have time to dig into why.
Mhm.
Oh,
But there's that window
Is
with
it-
that million.
is
and
it
then
turned
I
on
can-
to have lights in the bottom part?
No, it just has a single light in the lower.
Oh, it's lights and bottom. No, it might have to do with the molding that's crossing it.
I don't know, but we don't have time to dig into that one right now. But that's a general concept on how this works. And you can then control the size of the mullion just like you do with any of the other mullions in Windows. And that's how you create a custom mullion.
So there's a question here, Dan, about how the framing is going to be recognized in that window opening you were doing for those dormers,
up here with that
where you put the
Pass-
symbol on the outside and then through the window
Well,
opening in.
well the symbol's not going to frame.
Right.
That's just a 3D object like a toilet. It's not going to do anything other than look good in your plan. The wall would frame fine because it's got the pass-through opening in it. So if I did the framing in that, and I'll say no to the don't show it, but if I go look at the framing, we're going to get it framed somewhat decent. Chief's not going to do the greatest job on a plan like this. Chief is a really good program, but when you start getting into some of this kind of stuff, yeah, it's you're 3D modeling, and you're going to have to put a lot of work into getting that framing just right. So,
So the
should-
person that asked that question, let me know if he answered what you were looking for.
yeah. Okay. All right.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Dan.
Michael, you got anything else you want to ask on this one?
I think we're good
Okay.
on this one. I mean, there's obviously a few.
You're
things.
doing a really good job on this. This is a tough project. A little tip for you, like to create these kinds of things, whenever you're doing arcs and things like that, I hope you're just doing lines and then converting them instead of trying to draw arcs all the time.
Mhm.
So when you create something like that, you just break it where you want to break it, and then you're going to create a arc out of that, and there's your arc.
Mhm. Mhm.
Little tip for you, like when you're doing these, like on top of here, Chief you can click this icon over here to turn center points on. So I can see where the center of that arc is.
Mhm.
So if I were to add a piece up here, there's a couple different ways to get this to this setting, but if you double click on the concentric icon, make concentric,
Mhm.
you could turn on resize and rotate about current point instead of center,
Mhm.
and then set it back to the default here instead of concentric. And then when you make your multiple copies, you want to make 3 more copies. When you do the triangle, I'm getting the wrong thing there. Let's do that again. Multiple copies. Oh, come on. What's it doing to me? Did I not get that set right? Object. Oops, wrong place. What's that? Edit. Here it is. Behaviors, current point.
Concentric jump, is that what you're looking for?
No. I'm just looking to multiple copy those.
Hit multiple copy and then hit it again for your interval. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, dummy. I got to set my current point first. Set your current point. That's my current point, the center there. Now I can multiple copy around the current point like this.
Hmm.
So that's a little function that's kind of hidden in there. That's not hidden. It's just how it works. So do the same over
They're-
there.
The other nice thing about using that mutton, was it called make muttons? Is that what it was called?
Oh, yeah.
Or make mullions?
Mullions,
Make
yeah.
mullions. It resizes with the window when you resize it versus
Exactly.
the solid. You have to move
Exactly.
everything.
Yep. It gets grouped together with the window. So yep, if you make that, or doesn't mean it's going to
Yeah.
do it perfectly, but it does.
Yeah.
So if you're just doing a little bit, it'll do that just fine. Yeah, I found that.
Dan, can I show a quick little trick also for
Absolutely.
just circling in CAD? All right.
Go for it, man.
This is just showing our tools for trim and extend. So I'm drawing a CAD line across the screen here, and then we actually have a circle about center. So if it's helpful to draw a circle about a center point, we have that tool. So this circle is being drawn from the center as opposed to its tangent corners, right?
Show them how to use the tab key to do it at a specific size. That works.
Okay. So same tool, and I'm circle about center, and I'm drawing this out. I'm bringing my mouse up in the direction that I want to indicate my radius in this case. So my radius in this case, I want to say is 60 inches. So I hit tab or enter.
How'd you get that? How'd you get that up there?
So while I was dragging my circle, I hit tab or enter, and that brings up enter coordinates. And then here's where I get to specify distance or an XY position offset. Now I find it much easier to do distance, so I leave polar checked. And then I'm just going to punch in 60 and then hit OK. And that's going to say that this is a circle with a radius of 60 inches. So there we go. And then from here, I can take this and I can trim this by hitting our trim objects tool. Now my edit toolbar is floating, but hit my trim objects right here. And then you draw a line through what section you want to trim. So I'm going to trim the center section of this line, right? So now I've got a line on either side of this circle. Same thing, I could have just taken this line, use that same trim objects tool, and draw a line through the portion of the circle that I want to cut. Now our fence tool, and that's this guy, fence tool will select anything that is crossing the path of our selection. So now it's automatically detecting that this circle is crossing the path of this selection, so that I could then trim the center of that and create a line, circle, line.
Mm-hmm.
Might want to rewatch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to answer this question quick?
Is there a way to curve the shed planes? You don't understand the question. Curve? It's a way to curve the
I
short.
think I'm understanding it. We on the shed planes coming down from the mansard roof, we have a secondary roof.
You
So we
scroll
come
out.
down with the mansard, and then we flare out. And I think this was done before we actually got to that. But yeah, there is a way. See, these are shown as straight.
Oh, down to the bottom.
Secondary
Um,
roof planes. So you got the main mansard,
Oh,
roof,
these.
and then you have the little flare.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Then that's supposed to be curved, or they're asking if you curve it.
they're asking if it can be curved. Ours is
Okay,
not.
so
Yeah. It's
I
really easy. Here, let me just before you go, John, the way you
Go
think about how you want to curve that, to know how much to curve it, draw a circle and get the radius of that circle. All
Dan,
right.
there's an easier way. Don't even show
there?
that. Don't even show that.
Oh, come on, John.
Just
This is fun.
Select the
Okay.
steep roof and find out what degrees and angle it is.
All right, hang on. Let me get to it. Okay, roof plane.
And then go to pitch in degrees. Right below the right below the
Oh,
pitch.
okay. There you
Pitch in
go.
degrees. Copy that,
Okay.
and then go to the lower roof.
This is the easier way.
Yes,
Yeah, they both work.
the lower roof.
Um,
Open it. Go to curved roof. Click down toward the bottom of that menu,
all right.
and in the ridge, paste that number in there
Why the ridge?
That's where
because
you're starting from.
you're working on the ridge of the top roof of the bottom roof, and then say okay, and it's done.
Oh,
Well, look at you.
Piece of cake, huh?
Wow. Although it
And-
turned
Yeah,
out kind of
dude.
weird, but
yeah,
Because it broke that
not
return
quite
on there. That's why,
connected, but you know.
that's why it's weird. If you look at the 3D of it, you'll see that it's fine.
so it curved it nice. Obviously, we need to shut the gutter off on that.
Yeah.
Um,
And
Chief.
The roof should have been joined. The roof wasn't joined when you did it, when you started either.
Mm.
If that gutter came
Right.
back.
Oh yeah, look at that.
So you have to have the two roofs joined together before you do that.
There
Yeah,
you go.
that helped quite a bit. So joining it
Very nice.
together.
Yeah.
That's
Why not?
really nice.
Perfect.
So, all right, cool.
Well, thank you
So-
very much. I've got to run. I've got another webinar happening right now. So, but this has been very, very helpful. I really appreciate
Bye,
it, Dan,
Michael.
everyone else. And
Thanks. All right,
we'll be seeing you in a couple of weeks.
cool. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
All right.
Cool house.
That's a cool house. It's going to be. I think they're doing a second floor addition on it. So
Wow.
that's pretty cool addition. Let me just close all that down.
It's a heck of an as-built.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I applaud them for doing it and getting it the way they
Killer
did.
as-built.
these kind of projects, these restorations, they're tough to draw in any CAD program, not just Chief. But yeah, they're doing a nice job. All right, let's move to Mary. Mary is on the call. She actually has some questions. Mary, are you there? There you are. Hi, Mary.
Hi,
How are
Hey,
you?
Mary.
good. How is everybody?
Great.
And you're right, those old houses are tough to do.
Yes.
Right, Kevin?
Hey,
All
I'll
right.
never forget our turret, our
Yeah.
curved turret.
Mary
Yeah.
Mary worked for a long time on a turret on an old home that burned, and she was recreating it, and that was a big struggle.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And then they didn't build it curved.
Yeah, and then, and then they didn't build it curved after all.
Oh no.
But it looked good in plan.
Yeah. Oh, it looked fabulous in plan.
All right. So here's your plan that you're working on.
Yeah.
And what are your questions for us, Mary?
I like to put in this, like a 3D photo,
Mhm.
so that they can get an idea of what finished product's going to look like. And when I do that from the plan, I just do a camera view from the plan, and then it wants to know whether I want to save it as a picture or an image. What's the
Right.
difference, and how can I get it to come in at the right size, the right, crisp pixels
okay.
and all that.
We're going to let Renee answer this one. But first of all, when you want to resize a picture like this, if you pull the corners, well, this is actually a picture, so it resizes fine. But if it's a
Yeah.
3D,
And I
if
think
it's a,
that's what I did when I brought this in. It was enormous. It was
yeah, if it's a viewport from Chief, you got to do this. You got to select the viewport, hit your Control key and select it again. Then you get a little circle at the top.
Mhm.
Then you can resize that viewport any size you want.
Okay.
Or click on it and hold your X key down and grab the corner, and that'll resize it as well.
Or
Okay.
that's right mouse as well.
Oh, that's right. The right mouse will do two sides, won't do the whole thing.
Yeah.
And on viewports, I always have mixed results. Maybe I'm just not doing it right, but seems like when I do viewports like that of a 3D view, it's cropping over it instead of
Yeah, you can't.
resizing.
If I'm right, you can't resize a 3D view. Although you can, it does work, but then it'll decide to return to its original size every once in a while and surprise you in your drawing. So you can't count on it. There's
No, you
an-
can. It depends on how you're doing it. One way is a crop, and the other way is a resize.
I'm not talking about a photo image of it. I'm talking about if you take a 3D view and send it to your layout as a 3D view, especially a live view, then you can't resize that dependably. Is that correct or not?
You
I've
can
never
have
had
a
any issues with
resize tool
If
in,
I
in
send
the layout box.
So if I send this to the layout
Mhm.
as a live view or update on demand. I always do update on demand because I don't want my live views sucking up resources all the time.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to send it to Kenny's, I guess.
Layout, yeah.
Okay, so there's my view. That's a viewport now. And if I try to resize it by grabbing a corner, it does that.
Mhm,
Right.
right.
Okay, so this is where you use your X key, you know, the key, what we're talking about, the right mouse button, it does make it bigger and smaller. Sometimes it crops over it. Or the X key resizes it, or you hold your control key down, you select it, control select, and then you got this, the arrow. I've been using the circle more often than not. It seems to do a nicer job. I don't know why, I just like it. So that's how you resize those views. Now, should that be a live view versus a picture?
Yeah.
100% you want to keep that a live view. So you don't want to
So,
send a, you don't want to send a picture every time you redo your plan.
So the way, right. The way I did this though was I went to Tools, screen capture,
And why?
because I learned that from one of your previous shows.
Well, that's not to put views on your layout, Mary. Come on now.
Dan,
I thought it was a better way than what I've used to be doing.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't use mine. I don't do them as a live view. I don't want to spend the money on that on color ink like that constantly.
well, you cheapskate. Come on.
No, I just, well, and you know what? Honestly, the contractor's like, why is this here? I don't need this.
Yeah,
So I only send my renderings by email. I send them to my clients so they can show them on their phone to their friends. I don't put them on my drawings. I don't want the ink on it. My contractor's like, if
yeah.
you're going to send me, my contractor
Well-
says to me, if I need something in 3D, I
But
want it in black and white. There's
Mhm.
no reason why I need it in color.
here's something for you to think about, though. All right. So yes, you can capture that screen and send it in an email, but then you got to do each view separately, and then you always got to redo it all the time.
Yeah.
All right. Every time you send something
But
new.
it's not that big of a deal
So,
to me. I don't think it is.
Why not do this where you are putting it on the layout? It doesn't mean you have to print the layout for your contractor. So layout files here.
Sorry about
Hey, bugs. All right. So in this plan here, I have like this. So those are all live views. If I make a change to the project, I can update those all, and then I could do the same thing. I could then just do the, oh, here's my tool right here. I could capture, oh, I got hide.
So right
Get out of
there
that.
where you
I
could
got to
do
turn that off.
picture, backdrop, material, and image. What's the difference between picture and image?
When you do the capture tool, you've got a picture would be you're going to save your, well, the backdrop would be a backdrop, material would be a material, picture.
Mhm.
An image would be like a 3D tree that you put in your plan. Not a 3D tree, an image of a tree, or an image of a person, or someone's job sign or something like that. You could capture something and make it a 3D object that sits in your plan. It's not a 3D object, it's a flat surface that'll turn and face the camera.
Ah, gotcha.
A picture is just that. It's a
Like a
picture
photograph.
of something.
Or
So you could
yeah.
do that. Oh, that's right. Why? Oh, that's right. You wouldn't use this to you're using this to send pictures to people?
I'm
You
not.
wouldn't do that. No, you wouldn't do that because that just creates a picture, a photograph that sits on, that gets added to Chief. So you wouldn't want to do that. Okay. So this is the way I handle it. I always put 3D views on a layout, whether I print them for people or not.
Right.
That's my option. I can, just move this page to the end and not print it. And then give I'm the mindset. I like giving 3D views to everybody. So that way they can all look at it and go, oh, cool. Or, hey, let's change this. Let's change that.
That's
Yeah,
kind of
okay,
my
keep
selling
moving.
point,
All right. So you had some rendering questions too?
Well,
Nice
I
kitchen,
guess
by the way.
so. So sometimes when I do this, it turns out fuzzy and not very crisp.
When you send it to the layout, it will be fuzzy. That's
Okay.
normal. But when you print the PDF, it will be crystal clear.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, that's normal in Chief's world. I don't know why.
I got a little trick. You can zoom in on your layout and then refresh, and it will crisp it up a little bit.
Yes.
Okay.
So it looks like this. Yes,
Yeah.
that's fuzzy.
It's a little
But
fuzzy.
if you click on it,
Uh-huh.
open it and close it, that what did you say, Renee? You do what?
A refresh.
Refresh it.
Just F5.
Or go down to the little
No,
circle on the bottom.
The little circle.
Oh, this
the
one. Yeah.
recycle
Thank you.
symbol. Yeah.
Yeah, that does clean it up on the screen.
Okay.
It's still going to be kind of fuzzy, but when you print that, it'll print clear, crystal
Okay.
clean. So that's no, I don't know if it's a resource thing for Chief or what it is, but that's what they do.
Gotcha. I thought it was something I was doing
No,
wrong and should have been trying something different.
yeah.
Ooh,
So
that's pretty.
that's called physically based. So that's this. So if you want to know if this will work
That
on your
looks so much
computer,
nicer.
if you want to know if this will work on your computer, go up to preferences, go to video card status,
Mhm.
and look at what your video card is. If
I
it's an
have a brand new
RTX
computer with I think that's what I have.
4090,
I think
beautiful.
that's
That should
right.
work
Yeah.
great then.
Yeah,
So that'll
my
work great.
motherboard crashed right over the holidays, so
Yep.
got a
And
new
Renee, what are
computer.
the settings that she should be using? So when you're in a 3D view like this,
You know, I tell you, it's different every time.
is it? Okay, well, let's just get the basic settings you should use. Are
Well,
to,
in this case, go into rendering technique options. You're in your
Okay.
edit camera. And you're in
you
your
want
edit
so,
view.
so I've switched to physically based.
Technique options.
We're going to go to technique options.
And then export samples, set that to like anywhere between 5 and 50 when you're just working through design.
Let's
I
set
keep
it
mine
at
pretty
20.
low. And then
we're
cat
gonna-
live samples and denoise when complete. And if you're in an interior shot, your daytime backdrop intensity could be anywhere between 100 to about 2,000 or so. 7,000 is
one?
more for an exterior scene.
Mm.
Yeah, depends on the backdrop you're using though.
Okay. And then you can always make the room a little brighter or darker
Okay.
by the exposure. So those are some settings that you want to be doing. You could set these up as a default in your template.
Mhm.
And then when you do this now, the export samples, when you rotate a view, you'll see right down here, it says samples. So if it's set to 1,000, it's going to keep going before it denoises. All right. So that's why we set it lower to get the speckles off the screen. So see when I move this now, see how it gets speckly?
Mhm.
When I let go, it goes through 20 samples and it gets rid of it denoises it, gets rid of those little speckles. And you get some really nice views. This is a nice plan. You've done a nice job here.
Thanks.
So really looks good. But yeah,
All right,
if
not
you
to
got
cut you short, we're running out. We need Mr. Mustache on here too.
all right, I'm sorry.
Yeah, can you answer this question real quick first, Dan?
Sure. Yep.
Changing the color of a T111 and lap siding to match. Just
Use the
matching the
blend with
colors.
materials option.
So you could change any material to a different color if you want that wood grain or something to be a different color. We're going to use the rainbow bacon tool.
You don't need to use the rainbow. Use the color picker.
The color picker.
Yeah.
This one?
Use the color picker and pick on those cabinets. Now hit your blend with material. Oh, you don't have a blend with material on those.
I always just use the color picker. Let's use the rainbow bacon tool. Just go to texture. It's this tool right here. Click on the material you want to change. Go to texture or pattern. Click on the blend with texture. You have to show me what you're talking about, Renee. I wasn't following you. And then we can hit set using texture or click on the color. And then we can just take the little eyedropper and go select the color we want it to be. So I'll get this material here and click OK. And now you just change the material. So you'll keep the siding color. So any color that you have on your computer open, you could do that with. And there you go.
And just for information, if you're going to be changing something like that a lot, do it in your wall types for this question, so that you're still using your default material.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Chad, what do you got? Thanks,
see you
Mary,
on.
by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice-
Thank you, Mary.
Nice
Nice
job
to
on
see you all.
that.
Nice seeing you, Mary.
Yeah, you too.
Chad's muted again. There he is.
So we've got Chad, and then we've also got William. I don't know if he's on the call or not, but we'll talk to Chad right now. Mary, there we go. Hey, Chad.
Hello.
That's not your plan. Let me go open yours.
So basically, my coming at this with the layout is the truth is I'm self-taught. You guys are my university, right? So this is through the years of working with you, Dan, and John, and then Renee's incredible work. Kevin and Robin are really submitting some other unique dynamics to this, so it's been great. That said, there's a lot of things I don't know still on how I create my layouts. Is it showing in that professional realm, or even more important for me personally, is it artistic enough? And so does it have its own style and flavor that becomes distinctly mine or a Keystone product? So when I created the drawing, this is actually a drawing for my own house. So there's stuff that I've kind of left out because I was lazy, because I'm the builder. But there's still tools and pieces of it that I would welcome any criticisms of what we should do differently.
All right. So again, you guys that are sending in the plans, thanks for using that tool that we uploaded. That makes it really nice. But I'm looking for the plan. Where'd the plan file go?
Chad, can you mute yourself when you're not talking, Chad? I think we're getting some feedback from you.
You might have some speakers going in your room. We're just they're getting those back over here delayed.
Plan file, where are you? There it is. Chad, we got two plan files. Which one do you want to look at?
Unmute yourself.
Both the same. I'll just pull that one up. And then let's grab your layout.
So I've unmuted. Has that changed?
There you go.
Yeah.
There, that works. No, still getting feedback. So just click the mute button when you're not talking. So you got a plan here that this is your house, and what kind of questions can we help you with?
So you can back up there and you see the presentation of
Nice
the
house.
doors and
Nice
windows.
Mhm.
That's always been a little challenge, how to break that up to make it look right. Because I just take it, I bring it in twice, and I do half of it, so I don't always get my title material or my column information. So I've always wondered how to do that better. So that could be one we could work on.
So you're wanting to make them smaller because the schedule gets to be too big when they're all in one place. Is that right?
Yeah, how do I get it all on there and make it look unchopped up and be more even? And I think this is something Renee's helped me with on the.
You know what? I'm putting a video up about this.
Renee, I couldn't hear anything you said.
Yeah, say it again. Chad, we get a massive amount of feedback of us talking
There, he's
back
muted.
through your computer. Yeah, I just muted you.
I
So-
have a recording I did last night about this specifically, and I was uploading it to YouTube today. So I don't know if you just want to wait for that. That would work.
You're
Yeah,
always
well-
one step ahead of us.
Yeah. Do you have a link you could post, Renee?
I haven't uploaded it yet, so
Okay.
I could. Yeah, I don't know where you want me to put it, but wherever I can put it, I will. I'll put it in the Facebook groups. Yeah.
All right. So, what's the way? How do you make the columns go opposite of how it normally does? Normally, it has the title.
Open that, and it's swap rows columns at the bottom middle.
I didn't even know you could do that, to be perfectly honest. That one right there.
there,
Okay.
yep.
Cool. So, if you do something like this, you could make that 3D column a little smaller by making it narrower, and that creates a nice looking. You still get the image. It's not as big as you had it, but it makes the schedule a lot easier to read, I think, than the way you have it there.
We saw how you did that, but can you tell us how you did it? You didn't
I can
talk about it.
I-
You just did it.
grabbed
You
the.
just showed us how to do it.
Well,
and
first
you
of all,
can reduce
first of
your-
all, I swapped the titles for this. I swapped the way the thing was done. Robin, what were you saying?
Oh, well, there's some other things you could do, like Chad, put all the floor. If you put, I usually make schedules per floor if I'm working on more than one. So that way I can have a schedule just of my windows for floor 1 and windows for floor 2. And that helps to reduce the size of it, because then you can rearrange where the schedules are going to be, right? And
Right.
they don't all have to be on the same, they don't have to be together. The other thing you can do is now you can also minimize the width of the columns and make the columns a little smaller. And that makes it nicer. Like, you know, so think of this. If you don't have that column for floor, but you change the title and you say Windows Floor 1, right? And then you have another one that says title Windows Floor 2, you've reduced the whole column. So you don't even need that information in their drawing.
Right.
That helps to keep it, because these things get to be crazy. But
They do.
love the schedules. I work in the schedules all the time. I actually use them as my specifications. I don't want to have to write specs. Writing specs, my least favorite thing in the world to do. I'm sure that most of you love writing specs
Yeah, absolutely. Can't
because
wait.
that's so much fun.
It's like detailing a cross section. I just can't wait to do those.
Oh, I know.
So I
They're like
do
the
agree.
highlight of my day.
Anywho, so Chad, this is, I think, what we see as in my opinion, a little bit nicer presentation. But again, you'd be the judge of that. Either way, I think works fine. I think this is a little easier to work with. That's just my opinion. I don't know what you guys think, or Chad, what your thought is on the differences.
Just a quick word about schedules. If people haven't messed with them since X15, go in and mess with them. There's a lot of things you can do to it now to make it look pretty. I mean, before it was just kind of a generic blob sitting on your plan, but now you can make them look really pretty and easier to read, stuff like that. So go spend some time
you
working
can
on
do
that.
so much with them now. They're amazing. The new schedules are so, if you guys are not using your schedules to the full advantage, you're really missing out some great opportunities.
Yeah, and
think-
you can go ahead, Kevin.
I think what Chad was asking when he introduced this situation is that he's looking to differentiate himself from his competition. He's looking for how to make his plans. He just happens to be using his house as an example. Chad,
Mhm.
feel free to nod or shake your head if I'm right or wrong. And so he's looking to say, how can I differentiate? How can I make my plans stand out? How can I make my plans more artistic and more dramatic than my competitions? I don't think he's concerned so much about how to do this schedule as it is, does a schedule like this come across as unique, different, and more artistic, or has it just become confusing? Am I anywhere close to right?
Yes, you are. You are. Yeah. It really, how does it become? I'm less concerned about as far as how it looks for the builder, because they're going to aggregate their information they want. They're going to only look at part of these pages anyway. The homeowners who I'm selling these to, or the person that's paying me the big dollars. And so it needs to really have a dynamic, rich feel to it and be accurate and smart. So I'm trying to find a way to do that.
So another idea would be there's been several ideas about splitting your schedule for the windows up per floor, but you could also do it per elevation. That would be some manual stuff that you have to do with the schedules, but you could do it per elevation, and that would get your schedules smaller so that they look nicer.
And overall,
Like Robin, it becomes a spec presentation tool too. So takeoff, it is nice to have them consolidated.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You can create the second schedule. You just run into the same issue that a lot of people do, where you end up with the multiple call outs on the plan, which is not good. If you can deal with
Each window can only be on one schedule.
But
That
you
I
can
would-
make them go on to a custom schedule if you'd like, with a new custom category. and then make
Well,
a schedule
Chad-
based on that.
All right, because of time, we have to call it. Chad, you got a great topic there, which we will be talking about at the summit.
Yep, love that
I like that topic a lot. So how can we make our plans look better, differentiate?
Yeah, I think when you come to the summit, we should spend some time talking about those kinds of things.
Yeah. Yeah, so bring some of your
Yeah.
plans with.
Yes.
Let's answer this question before we go. I find the live camera to be difficult to manage. If I move the camera angle, do you have a method to lock down your camera location for reuse? What I do is I take that camera that I'm going to be putting on my layout, I put it on a new layer, I lock that layer, and I turn it off so I can't even see it on my plan. So I'm never going to be grabbing it to
Okay,
move
so
it around.
I got a camera here, right? I want to save that camera, save active view, okay? And then I'm gonna go back to plan view and take this, and we can still use our copy paste tool and then use this new camera to do whatever I want to do to set up another camera.
Exactly.
And the good part about hiding them even from yourself is that you aren't tempted to reuse that later and spin it around and find out you just wrecked your 3D rendering on your layout page.
Exactly. Exactly.
I want to steal the last couple minutes, guys, because I think the focus of this was red lines and plan checking and stuff, right?
Yeah, go for it.
So I got a couple things that I like to do in terms of plan checking in general. I love to look at my old plans to see if I missed some kind of detail. I love grabbing other people's plans. I know Richard Fouquet's in here. I've got a set of his plans. They're gorgeous. I hope he lets us share it one day because they're so beautiful. So I like to go check other people's plans to see what I might be missing out. And then it's helpful to come up with a workflow for bubbling revisions because inevitably you're going to have revisions. So you can do it in plan. I like doing it in layout because I'm not restricted by the layout box, right? So then I can bubble over anything I want in layout because you think of layout as a PDF compiler. And then if you're a macro guru, you can really get into some funny stuff where you can even create a revision table from this. So this is a little bit advanced. I'll show it because I know sometimes you guys like seeing this kind of stuff. I'm going to get into my project browser, and within this, let me close down a bunch of other stuff first. Sorry, give me a second. Otherwise, I can't see what I'm looking at. So Untitled 2 layout. So Untitled 2 layout, I'll make a new CAD detail. Watch this. I'll just say fixed standards and abbreviations. Made a new CAD detail. Close that CAD detail. I'm going to copy this revision note, bring it over to this standards. I'm going to bubble this, and then I'm going to link this call out to that new fixed standard and abbreviation. And now in my plan check comments, it shows me that as a listed thing that I could print out. So it's cool and it works well for printing out a revision table, but there's a bunch of different things you can do in layout that people don't even think about. Another thing to keep in mind is you can add CAD details in layouts. A lot of people don't utilize that, but there's a few reasons why you might want to do that. So
yeah,
a couple of
that's
tips
true.
and tricks there.
So once you've created your revision cloud in that situation and you're using it as a linked entity, can you get rid of the cloud? Because the cloud indicates like this is something I've changed in my plan. So can you leave or can you eliminate the cloud and still have that link?
Oh, for a next revision, and now that's no problem. So you can just keep that tag in there, and that's from a previous revision, right? So now we're on revision 2. So then I'd make a copy of this and just change the label of it. And in this case, I don't remember how I changed the label of it. Go figure.
Sorry.
It's been a while since I've used the system. Somewhere in there, that call out is number 1 from something. So, but yeah. And then I like to go just check on some of my previous revisions too. We'll just see if I can't. Oh, here's another thing. For plan checking, go to your municipality, or your county, etc. Go see if they've got a plan submittal checklist. And this is
A
from
lot of them
Oakland.
do.
You know, a lot of them
Most of 'em
do. So you're going to come in here and check that out. Another thing to do for your site plan specifically is go into your county GIS, and a lot of times they have a parcel map that you can print out. That's a parcel map of record. That's a really big one to me. Here's just, you know, when I'm bubbling, if I have a section of a drawing that's so significant, I've made so many significant changes, I'm not going to bubble all those individual changes. I'm going to bubble the entire thing. And you got to make that decision. And so long as it makes sense to your plan checker, that's great. So you'll notice here that I'm bubbling just a portion here versus bubbling an entire section or sheet or something like that.
Very nice.
So that's helpful. And then just make it clear. You know, there's no rhyme, rule, or reason to this unless your county municipality actually has some rules regarding it. So here's just another example. I'm bubbling huge sections in this one because I've got a lot of changes on, like this whole page changed, so I needed to bubble it out.
Cool.
All right, that's all I got.
That's it. No, it's not all you got. It's just all you got time for. Everybody, thanks for being on the show today. Again,
Thank you, guys.
love to have you join us at the summit. You get a chance to learn about the fabulous mustache that we see there on Chad. World awarded or renowned, whatever you call it.
And he can
Yeah.
use it as a pot hanger.
And we're going to do this again next time. So that would be on the 2nd of February. So we'll do some more plan checks. So if you want something reviewed, just follow the links on the Designer Show page, and you can upload your plan. We'll take a look at it and invite you to our show if you'd like to. These are fun.
That'll be fabulous.
Obviously, we could do this all day,
Yeah.
and but I know people have work to do. So thanks
I
again
like
for
the
being here.
invite thing. This is cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for being
Good,
here, and
thank
we'll
you.
talk to everybody soon.
Have a great day,
See you next
everybody.
time.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye. Bye.